NMH at 1 highlights the news that are currently trending, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and economic news. Here are the headlines. State upbeat about finally prosecuting killer mom. GDP expected to slow in 2024. World Food Program donates mobile storage unit Divundu Correctional Services. I'm Aina Kweo. You can follow all our programs on our website, which is called oneup2.com, or on DSTV 285 or GoTV 25 in Namibia. The limited availability of closed storage space for food grains in Namibia has contributed to food waste, increased food insecurity, and reduced national food reserves. The World Food Program has therefore availed one mobile storage unit to Divundu Correctional Services, marking a milestone in supporting Namibia's efforts to transform the food system value chain, according to a joint statement issued by the correctional facility and WFP. While 811 people go to bed hungry every night, approximately 1/3 of the food is lost or wasted. This results in an annual financial loss of $1 trillion. After the break, we return with our newspaper review. Stay with us.
Hi Sonia.
Hi Tufeni. What are you reading?
I'm reading about the Child Care and Protection Act. In this pamphlet I got from school.
What's that?
It is Namibia's main law for the children and the issues affecting them. The act classifies here that a child is anyone under the age of 18 years. Check out some of the rights meant to protect you. For more information, contact the Children's Advocate.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
In our newspaper review this afternoon, police and prosecutors are closing in on dragging back to court a Namibian mother who allegedly killed her 2 children in Ethiopia in December 2020 after schoolboy errors by the state initially led to the charge being withdrawn. Christofina Amutenya reportedly killed her own son Jene Haufiku and daughter Jane Haufiku after a bitter divorce feud with their father Peter Haufiku was granted custody. Haufiku is Namibia's commercial attaché in the country's embassy in Ethiopia, a job that necessitated him to live abroad with his family. Charges against Amutenya were provisionally withdrawn and she was set free after lodging an urgent application challenging her arrest and detention in Namibia. Namibia has made significant efforts to address shortcomings identified by the Financial Action Task Force amid fears that it may be grey-listed. The country will know next month whether its efforts have been sufficient. Grey-listing means a country is under increased monitoring by the FATF due to certain deficiencies in combating money laundering and the financing of terrorism, among other things. Finance Ministry Executive Director Titus Ndovo told Namibian Sun that the concerns raised were addressed and Namibia is now waiting a decision. Midco executives and managers are leaving the mid-parastatal and mess due to alleged frustration, intimidation, and a generally toxic work environment. This is according to 3 of the 6 senior officials who tendered their resignation since July 2023, who highlighted the problem in working for Midco. The resignations coincides with the Finance Minister Ipumbushimi and the Bank of of Namibia's request for Midco board to institute a probe into the operation of the company. Anselma Haushiku, Human Capital Executive Ainus Karumbi, Production Manager Titus Kayanda, Group Accountant Demetrius Aimbano, Cost Accountant Jonas Ileka, Human Capital Manager, and Martin Skambulu, Procurement Head, all resigned between July and December last year. Moving over to the Republican, almost 7 months have passed since SWAPO Party lawmaker Jerry Ekanjo tabled his contentious private members bill. He introduced a bill on the definition of spouse, which seeks to explicitly define it to refer to heterosexual couples, and another to change sections of their Marriage Act. The bill, which sailed through both National Assembly and the National Council, have been gathering dust on the President Hage Geingobb's desk, whose stamp of approval or rejection is awaited by the nation at large. The President is not given a fixed time frame within which he should approve the bills. However, it should be within the same parliamentary cycle which the bill was presented in. The cycle has not ended yet, and Parliament is expected to resume in February to finalize all activities and tasks of the current financial year, which ends in March, National Assembly spokesperson Saki Kadhikwa said. With the help of the Forensic Department of Bank Windhoek, the police have identified the first suspects in Rundu and Opuo. In Rundu, the suspects are alleged farm workers of the main suspect, Nico Radebe, who received amounts between 200,000 Namibian dollars and 500,000 Namibian dollars. Radebe remains at large. That is what the Allgemeine Zeitung in today's publication is opening with on its today's publication. Meanwhile, Bank Windhoek has offered a reward of 20,000 Namibian dollars to anyone who provides information to Namibian police leads to Radebe's successful arrest. On page 2, AZ is attending to the hydrological bulletin, which was published by Namibian Water Resources Department on Wednesday. The Zambezi, Okavango, and Orange rivers are gradually rising. However, the levels of the dams are worrying. The hydrological services have activated contingency planning for flood risk mitigation and reconstruction, and have asked communities in flood-prone areas to remain vigilant and take precautionary measures. However, the levels of the dam are worrying. Compared to the same period last year, levels have dropped significantly. After the break, we return with more newspaper reviews, starting with the Namibian newspaper. Stay with us.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
The Namibian reports that National Assembly new 5-year plan has called for the parliament to operate independently from organs including the executive, and has blamed, among others, the below standard performance of the parliament on the cabinet determining National Assembly budgets. Windhoek District Magistrate Ndapewa Selma Amadila yesterday was met with silence after requesting donations to fulfill the 2 remaining seats of Management Committee. This was the Windhoek Council's second attempt to constitute a 5-member Management Committee after 5 councillors walked out during the council's office barrier elections in the capital. According to New Era's front page, an absent Parliamentary Service Commission, lack of robust oversight, no communication strategy, limited public involvement, and poor public image are among the National Assembly's chief shortcomings. In the face of challenges, some strengths such as Assembly's constitutional mandate, experienced staff, membership of international parliamentary bodies, digitization, and access to e-parliament do exist. A man who allegedly led young girls to his house with the promise of fixing a gold ring to their teeth made his first appearance in Windhoek High Court yesterday. Johanna Paro Markerel is facing 7 accounts of rape and alternatively committing or attempting to commit a sexual act with a child below the age of 16 years. He further faces 3 accounts of trafficking in children, 1 count of abduction, alternatively kidnapping, 1 count of assault by threat, 1 count of attempted rape, alternatively indecent assault, and 1 count of attempting to commit an indecent or immoral act with a child under the age of 16 or alternatively indecent assault. Namibia registered a trade deficit of 4 billion Namibian dollars in November 2023. Trade statistic released by Namibia Statistic Agency show in November 2023, Namibia exports stood at 11.8 billion Namibian dollars, imports at 15.8 billion Namibian dollars, the NSA said. An analysis showed that petroleum products made up the majority of Namibia's imports, followed by inorganic chemicals and construction equipment. On the demand side, South Africa remained Namibia's largest market for good demand. The demand side saw South Africa maintaining her position as the country's largest source for imports, accounting for 36.3% of the total import into Namibia, followed by India in the second position with 13% of the market share. China, the United Arab Emirates, and Malaysia also formed a part of Namibia's top 5 imports market, the NSA said. China was Namibia's top export destination, followed by Belgium and South Africa. After the break, we return with economic news. Stay with us.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Namibia's gross domestic product is expected to slow in 2024 as a consequence of slowed global economic growth, PSG said in its outlook for 2024. We anticipate real GDP growth to slow from an estimate of 5.8% in 2023 to 3.1% in 2024, as the expected global growth slowdown will weigh on Namibian exports while mining growth will subside due to the base effects in oil exploration, said PSG. Namibia's trade deficit was expected to narrow in 2024, the PSG noted, anticipating the current account deficit will narrow from the gaping 9.6% of GDP in 2023 to 7.9% of GDP in 2024. The expected decrease in exports and customs union revenues is likely to be offset by a drop in fuel and food imports cost, a deceleration in the growth of services linked to mineral exploration, and an increase in tourism income. And now let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades for 24 Namibian dollars to 1 British pound, 20 Namibian dollars 60 cents gets you 1 euro, and 18 Namibian dollars 96 cents, gets you 1 US dollar. All local shares remain the same. That includes MTC, Anirep, Capricorn Investment Group, First Rand Ltd, Namibian Breweries Ltd. The local index still remains the same, while the overall index has dropped with 1.88%. All commodities have increased. That includes gold, platinum, copper, and Brent crude oil. Gold with a 0.34%, platinum 0.41%, copper 0.59%, and Brent crude oil 0.88%. After the break, we return with news from Africa. Stay with us.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
The Mozambican Tax Authority has confirmed that a value-added tax is being charged on soap, sugar, and cooking oil after 17 years in which these goods were zero-rated. Any shopper would have noted price increases for these three products as from the start of the year. This was inevitable after, in December, the Mozambican Parliament, the Assembly of the Republic, paid no attention to calls from opposition parties to renew the exemption from the VAT. The prices in the shops and markets have risen. Now moving over to our next story. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame has said he could return money to the UK if no asylum seekers are sent to his country under his deal with the government. The UK has paid 240 million euros to Rwanda, with a further 50 million euros to come. So far, no asylum seekers have been sent to the country. Asked on why he was taking the money, Kagame said it is only going to be used if those people will come. If they don't come, we can return the money. But Rwanda's government later specified there was no obligation to do so. The president's remarks came before a key vote in the Commons, which saw MPs pass legislation to revive the deportation scheme after it was ruled unlawful by the Supreme Court last year. The draft law will now head for further scrutiny in the House of Lords, where it is expected to run into considerable opposition. In its statement, the Rwandan government said funds paid to Rwanda were intended to support the country's economic development, as well as to prepare to receive and care for the migrants when they arrive. We return with international news shortly. NATO is launching its largest exercise since Cold War, rehearsing how U.S. troops could reinforce European allies in countries bordering Russia and on the alliance's eastern flank if the conflict were to flare up with a near-peer adversary. Some 90,000 troops are due to join the Steadfast Defender 2024 drills that will run through May, the alliance top commander Chris Cavoli said on Thursday. More than 50 ships from the aircraft carriers to destroyers will take part, as well as more than 80 fighter jets, helicopters and drones, and at least 1,100 combat vehicles, including 133 tanks and 533 infantry fighting vehicles, NATO said. The reinforcement will occur during a stimulated emerging conflict scenario with a near-peer adversary, Cavoli told reporters in Brussels after a two-day meeting of the National Chiefs Defense. And after the break, we return with our local sports. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
MTC has announced the renewal of its sponsorship support to the Namibian Netball Premier League, where it commits to a total of $2.5 million Namibian dollars for the next 3 years. This represents a 31% increase from what the league received last year. Spirit is high in the Brave Warriors training camp as team intensifies their preparation ahead of a crucial encounter against neighboring Bafana Bafana on Sunday. Catch the action live on your screen. Namibian Paralympic athlete Ananias Shikongo is far from contemplating the end of his illustrious career, firmly believing that he still has much to contribute. The 37-year-old Paralympian, specializing in T11 short distance event, remains steadfast in his commitment to professional competition, asserting that age is merely just a number. When we return, we will be bringing you international sports. Stay with us.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
William Trust Ekog's second-half penalty was enough for Nigeria to jolt its Africa Cup of Nations campaign into life with a 1-0 win over host Ivory Coast on Thursday. The Super Eagles were under pressure to get a victory after drawing their opening game against Equatorial Guinea and are now all but certain of reaching the knockout stages. In our second story, on the face of it, the Vodacom Bulls face a tough task in the final round of the pool phase of their Investec Champion Cup Challenge. The Bordeaux Beagles have been imperious form recently, both in Europe and in the French domestic league, and have winning momentum. Javi Hernandez and his wounded Barcelona side visit Real Betis on Sunday in La Liga, still dusting themselves down from last weekend's humbling Real Madrid. The Catalans were thrashed in the Spanish Super Cup on Sunday in Saudi Arabia, leading to a week of soul-searching ahead of a trip in Seville. And now let's have a look at the weekend gig guide courtesy of Michael Kayunde.
Hi Kambaripa.
Hi Melissa.
You look upset. Is everything okay?
A healthcare worker refused to attend to me because I visited the healthcare facility without a guardian.
Healthcare workers are not allowed to do that. This sounds like a job for your shield of survival.
Huh?
Your rights, they're your superpowers. Your shield of survival is your right to life, health, nutrition, shelter, and an adequate standard of living.
For more information, contact the Children's Advocate Namibia in the Office of the Ombudsman on 061 20 73 111. Send us an SMS on 20401. SMS costs 40 cents. You can also send us a message via our Facebook page. Remember, the services of the Children's Advocate are free of charge.
Good day, NMH at 1 viewers. My name is Michael Kayunde, back on your TV screens to give you guys a lowdown of some of the events that are taking place in and around the country this weekend. To start with, you can catch that is Chill Sessions, a countdown show that makes sure that you are updated with the trending music videos in the country. It's airing tonight on Namibian Sun's Facebook page at 1900 hours, and you may catch the repeat that is tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. in the morning on DSTV channel 285. That is on NTV. Moving along with other events you can still catch this weekend, you can catch the opening of that is the French Online Film Festival happening at FNCC. It's going to happen for a month long. That means it's going to be open between tomorrow and until the 19th of February 2024. It's also free for the public, so make sure that you make time and immerse yourself in film content from French, that is. Another event that you can expect to check out this weekend is the Village Market happening at the Village in Eros from 9 to 3 p.m. It's also free of charge, so make sure you go out there and support the Village Market. That's all we have for today. Until next time, it's goodbye.
Here are the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. The Mozambican Tax Authority has confirmed that the value-added tax is being charged on soap, sugar and cooking oil after 17 years in which these goods were rated 0. NATO is launching its largest exercise since the Cold War, rehearsing how U.S. troops could reinforce European allies in countries bordering Russia and on the alliance's eastern flank if a conflict were to flare up. MTC has announced the renewal of its sponsorship support for the Namibian Netball Premier League, where it commits a total of $2.5 million Namibian dollars. And those have been our highlights, which means that we've also come to the end of today's broadcast. Until next Monday, have a lovely weekend.